Let's take a look at Forsberg's forward. Forsberg, what do you have for me today?
All right, Amina. So this is our last show before all the other writer nerds cast their votes for NBA postseason awards. I don't have one, so I have to lobby everybody else on what they should vote. And so I'm going to give you 4 awards that I think Celtics players or coaches or executives should be competing for. And it starts with, well, you know my guy.
Of course.
Right here, Rob Williams.
Come on.
And my number is minus 7.0. And what that is the defensive field goal percentage, that difference in what is expected versus what Rob is allowing on the court this season. And we're going to watch a whole bunch of clock blocks back here. But Rob is the leader in the NBA for all players with at least 500 shots defended. Better than Gobert, better than Triple J in Memphis, like all the other all-defense candidates. And now here's the thing, Amina.
Okay.
I need to dig in here. So a lot of people are going to say they already have Rudy Gobert and Embiid on their all-defense teams. There's no slot for Rob. No. If you're telling me that you're going to do the Jokic and Embiid on the first-team All-NBA, and we'll get to that in a minute, but I need you to vote Rob Williams, because Rob plays forward on defense. Al Horford's holding down that back line. Rob deserves first-team All-Defense for all of his exploits and his Romer role. The Celtics wouldn't have the #1 defense if it wasn't for Rob, and I know he missed a couple games here late in the year, but he deserves that spot.
The first team all-defense for Rob Williams seems like a pretty good get for him. I can't see why writers wouldn't vote for him to get that spot, especially being in that conversation with those other guys that you mentioned. All right, what's coming up at number 2?
Number 2, my number is plus 13.5, and that is the net rating differential for Jayson Tatum this year. And essentially, Tatum is plus 11.5 when he's on the court. So the Celtics essentially are 11.5 points per 100 possessions better than the other team when he's out there. When he's not out there, it drops minus 2.0. So they are 13.5 points better overall. And now, as you can see on those on the right there, that's the top, all the top guys for all NBA this year are sort of listed. And right there, Jayson Tatum is number 2 behind Jokic, who should probably be the MVP. He is ahead of Giannis. He's ahead of Durant by a landslide.
Wow.
He's ahead of Embiid. So I go back to this conversation a minute. Here's what you're going to hear a lot of this week.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't decide between Jokic and Embiid for first-team All-NBA, so I'm going to put both. And that's going to squeeze a forward position. And if you have Giannis at the other one, all of a sudden Jayson Tatum, is he going to get knocked to second-team All-NBA? No. Look at the numbers. Look at the way Jayson Tatum has played in the second half of the season. He deserves first-team All-NBA. It'd be easy to make this pitch if he started as fast as he's finishing, but I hope that voters don't scam the system. In the past, they've always, if you're a center, you're a center. So one of them, Jokic or Embiid's got to go to second team, and Jayson Tatum deserves to be first team All-NBA.
Hearing that case, the only thing I could think about was Jay-Z saying men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. And the numbers don't lie for Jayson Tatum. All right, what's coming up at number 3?
All right, number 3, I got 63.8, and that is the Celtics assist percentage under first-year coach Ime Udoka since January 23rd. And this is, like, I've said January 23rd 1 million times on these programs this year because that's the official launch point for the Boston Celtics this year. That's when they went from, like, okay, they're starting to get better in January, and then boom, Marcus Smart is back from COVID, Jayson Tatum's awesome, and that's when they launched. And also in that mix, their ball movement just went to another level. Now, think back. Ime Udoka's first press conference, what does he say? Brad Stevens, 27th in assist percentage last year. That is unacceptable. Pretty much calls out his new boss. But then he had to go out there and show it. And for the first half of the season, Celtics weren't great at it. But now that ball is whipping around. Ime has got every single player on the roster to buy in. We've seen Jaylen Brown go up as a facilitator. Jayson Tatum has gone up 2 levels as a playmaker. Marcus Smart is completely bought in. And now the Celtics are whole, and part of the reason they have the #1 offense in the league since January 23rd is that ball movement.
And the Celtics, they had about 20 assists in that first half in that win against the Wizards just like a couple days ago. And you talk about a season high, that ball was definitely moving out there on the court. All right, last but not least, what do you got for us?
All right, my number is 16. And I tried to count up, like, there's been 1 million transactions this year because of COVID and having to fill roster spots and all that. But Brad Stevens has made 16 significant moves since taking over for Danny Ainge. And I don't know where Brad's going to land in Executive of the Year voting, but I do hope he gets consideration because he made a lot of bold moves, starting with the first move he made when he arrived in trading Kemba to Oklahoma City for Al Horford. There was no guarantee how that was going to work, and you gave up a first-round pick. Al Horford has proven vital to this defense and the success of this team as a whole. That looks like as good of a move as you could have made despite having to give up that first-round pick. And you think about everything else that goes along with it. Brett had to hire the coach. He makes the mid-season trade to get Derek White, which, again, took some gumption because you had to give up a pick. You had to give up a future pick swap. Like, these were not easy moves to make. And Brad could have, like, just kind of eased into this new
Tiptoed
role.
into it.
No, he was like full leaps, like just flames coming everywhere. He was willing to give this team the best chance to make it work. And he also deserves credit because a bunch of stupid people were sitting here telling us to split up the Jays. And he stayed on the path. He kept Marcus Smart. He kept all the fringe pieces with the hope that this would all click, and it did. And now the Boston Celtics have a legitimate chance to be NBA title contenders because of his patience.